Hi everyone, welcome to Our Small Footprint. My name is Nyssa, and if you're new here, we are a family of 8 who live off-grid in Australia. I've recently finished up a run of videos of what I do on a daily basis to make our food stretch for the 8 of us when we do a monthly shopping run. A lot of people were very interested and asked a lot of questions, and it was a good topic to do a run of videos on. What I discovered doing it is that the ability to film without having to talk is great for me. With the 6 kids and the dogs and everything else that goes on, the kids like to play music while they're doing their chores and things like that as well. Being able to record without having to worry about background noise is very beneficial. So everyone seemed to really enjoy the series and enjoyed just seeing the snippets of the day-to-day lives, even if it was fairly impersonal for that particular series. So what I think I'm going to aim to do is to do something similar. There will still be the occasional video that is instructional or whatever, like I've got to make my cowboy candy up shortly because I've been harvesting all my jalapenos to be able to do that. And I will show you the process from beginning to end. I have a child calling me, which is one of these problems of speech video, so just give me a sec. And we're back. So where was I? So some sort of informational videos will still happen, like things like certain recipes or certain things like canning certain things. I'll still do instructional videos, but I may end up having to just sort of work it that I do. Everything's filmed in a process, but there is then speech recorded later, like now, or over the top of to do it. Doing speech overs can also be a little bit of a challenge here because it's nice to be able to watch the video while you're doing the speech over, but to do that I'd have to be inside our house, and our house is 6 meters by 12 meters with 8 of us in it. So unless the children are in bed at night, which by the time all the children are in bed, I'd like to be in bed as well, there's not much peace and quiet either. So I don't currently have a laptop, and I am hoping to invest in one shortly. My MacBook, the hard drive, the battery, something happened to the battery, it swelled up and destroyed the hard drive, so I need to replace that. So I will do that at some point. The other thing is that perhaps a second camera might be nice, because then I could have a camera facing me showing what I'm doing and have the ability to talk if I want to, but then have a camera that's angled down at the stuff in front of me rather than me having to shuffle camera angles, because then it won't be the time required to do that. So anyway, long-winded chat about, thoughts on how I'm going ahead, and I'd love any feedback in the comments below. If you want to ask any questions too, I'll do a FAQ video as well. So if there's anything that you're wanting to ask that I haven't answered already, feel free to ask it. I'll put up on my Instagram as well that people can ask questions, and I'll do an FAQ video. I have been asked to show some of the appliances and stuff that I use, which I will do. I just need to get things tidied up to do that. The inside of the house is another thing. People are interested in the actual living arrangements, which again I will share, but even though we're coming up to 4 years of being here, we're still in a bit of a transitional phase because the children are young. Change of camera angle because the sun keeps coming out from that cloud and glaring straight at my face. So living is still transitional because the kids are still young, and the youngest was 2 when we moved out here, so it was very different to how it is now. Surreal is 14 and would like to have something a bit separate, so we were looking at a caravan or a bedroom built off. We would also like a bedroom. At the moment we sleep surrounded by bookcases and wardrobes, but still in the main living area. So there's lots to be done in regards to that. We're also going to redo our whole bathroom shortly, so we'll bring you all along when we do all that as we go. But it's a slow and long process. The whole slow living thing out here is sort of part of how things happen. Things take time because there's other things going on as well, and to prioritize certain things makes it difficult. We also have to have 2 adults to be able to do a lot of things, and with children that are still fairly young, there's a scope of having to have a supervisory person at all times as well. They are old enough now to be trusted in a lot of ways, but there's still 6 children, and when you put 6 children together they get into mischief. And the 3 youngest boys are only 6, 7 and 7, so they are destructive and impetuous and somewhat difficult to contain, which we wouldn't want to do. We don't want to contain them, we just want to contain the damage that they can do. So I just filmed a chunk of conversation and did the same thing that I've done a few times lately and hit the button beside the record button instead of the record button. So I'm going to have to ramble again and hope that I haven't covered this, and I'll edit it up, but trying to freeform think a second time never works quite as well. So in regards to the lifestyle, being the slow living sort of off-grid lifestyle with the kids, there is always going to be things to do. I always abide by its progress, not perfection, because it'll never be perfect, because there's always something more that you want to add on. It's like the gardens here. We extended this whole garden space, fenced it all up, and so that we could have more garden beds. And when we did the planning, the thoughts of how many beds we would require to more comfortably grow all our vegetables that we require throughout the year, and rotate beds accordingly and things like that. And it's all overgrown, as you can see behind me. We then had record-breaking rain. We didn't have the funds to be able to bring in enough dirt to build all the beds. We've got ourselves some weed matting, but now we need to bring in dirt and wood chips to be able to create the paths and create the beds and have it all set up in a way that will work for us in the long run. But it's all money that has to be invested, which is fine, we will get there eventually, but it's another slow progression. It's another thing that will happen when it happens, and we have to be okay with that, because that's the style of life that we live. If we wanted to go out and work full-time and earn money, then we'd have the money to do the things here, but we wouldn't have the time or the desire as such to do it. It's like all the food preparation. We eat really well because I spend many hours providing that food by cooking and purchasing and planning the food that we eat. We could eat the same quality of food for a whole lot more money if I didn't spend that time, but what's the point of earning more money to spend more money and then not be home? So it's a choice, and it's a style of life, and it's something that we have agreed to do and enjoy doing and are continuing to do. So we're looking to bring you along for all of that sort of thing, but it's hard to know what people want to see and what they don't, and how much of what I feel like is my all day, every day kind of things that is interesting to you guys. So any and all feedback would be great. Here on Instagram, feel free to DM me, whatever, I don't mind, because I want to share. I want to create a bit of a community and share what we're doing here and get feedback from people so that we learn. I watch plenty of other YouTubers and learn from them all the time, and it's amazing how some of the things that I think is really normal, other people have commented and said, I wouldn't have thought of doing that. And that's something that I do with other YouTubers. So the idea is to create a bit of a learning platform. I learn from others, others learn from me, and I share in the process. So I have a blog that I keep on meaning to get updated so that I can put some more recipes up there as well, so people don't have to go scanning back through the videos to find the recipes. And I have many requests for a recipe book, and maybe one day that will be something I can do. I have a photography background, and food photos are something I enjoy, but at the moment I basically just use my phone because it's in my pocket and it's simple and easy, and it's a really old iPhone. So, you know, upgrading equipment to make things easier will definitely be something that I'd like to do as I go along, but for the moment what we have is what we're using, and hopefully that's enough. So anyway, I would love to hear anything that you have, any feedback that you have to give, and would enjoy discussing where we go from this point and what you would like to see. I feel like I've done a few different types of things now. It's only been probably 3 months, but it's been daily to every second day worth of videos. So I'm still figuring things out, and I'm still working on camera angles and editing and all the rest of it. There was a crash. I don't know what happened, but I would really enjoy any feedback that you can give. So I am going to share some snippets of the last couple of days throughout here. I'm not entirely sure what I'm putting on this video, but I will figure it out and share some imagery as well on this video so that to go with the discussion. But it was mainly just a roundup of the end of the month, at the end of the daily vlogs for the month, for the monthly groceries, and I'm happy to do that again each month, but I'd imagine that it'll be similar each month. I tend to buy very similar groceries each month because we know what we can do with them and then work them accordingly. The only thing that really varies is the fruit and vegetable, depending on what's in season. I always try and buy whatever's in season so that it's cheaper, and then when I get it home I figure out what to do with it. Apparently apples are going to be in season next month, so my fruit and veggie guy said. He gave me a number so I can send him a message and let him know when we're going to be going down so that he can put aside some big boxes of apples for us. So I will definitely be making apple pie filling and canning just some straight apples to use for like those puff pastry tarts and things like that. So we were going there, and I've got some recipes that I keep on testing, like the slice that I shared the other day, that I will keep on working on to get it right before I share it, because I'm very much a slapdash cook, and having to keep records of what I do so that I can share it and you can actually make it successfully is something that I'm working on. So that's all from me for today, and I will see you next video in the next couple of days, and I will leave you with some footage from whatever's been going on, and see you next time. See you later.